Yes, this is Emeku Bonye. As we in DPA continue to read the various stories and spins that Miss Stella Ogechi Njoku is spreading concerning how her HIV status became public. The more we hear these stories, the more we're shocked at the capacity, her capacity to distort the truth and present an absolute falsehood in terms of what happened. And hence the need for me, once in a while, to try to offer further explanations strictly for the benefit of DPA members. It's actually DPA members that we care about, even though we know this had gone, the story had been peddled and spread all over the world. But reasonable people are going to read good meanings into it, really. First and foremost, Stella was never my client. She wasn't my client, in terms of me as a lawyer representing her. My group, DPA, helped her, but she wasn't a client of ECLO and Associates or ECLO group in any capacity. But secondly, I did not disclose her medical conditions. It would have been unnecessary, really, because everything was already public and she made it public. The only problem she brought to us, you must understand this, was she told us that her boyfriend managed to lay his hands on her HIV status and was making it public. Yeah, and that was very odd, and that should have been the first red flag. Why would your boyfriend do so? He ought to have known that you are HIV positive. I think it is a standard, a worldwide standard of responsibility for you to disclose your status to anybody you're having sex with. In fact, it's a duty on your part, if you're HIV positive, to make sure you don't infect other people. You either disclose it to your partners, I think you should do that. But even if you don't do it, you make sure you never have unprotected sex with such people. In this case, apparently, looking at the allegations from both sides, something was terrible. Adesina claimed, when we finally got him, he claimed that Stella did not disclose to him her status, and that Stella lied to him specifically. He said he asked her that question at the beginning of their relationship. The first night they had sex, he asked her. He said, I am clean, I'm up to date, and I'm not sure about you. I have condom, I can use condom. Stella told him, according to him, Stella told him that she was clean, that she too was up to date in her tests, and that she was not positive in anything. Based on that representation, according to Adesina, based on that representation, he went ahead to have sex, unprotected sex, with Stella, and they had unprotected sex for the period of their relationship, which spanned into months, almost a year. Adesina said that he stumbled upon the truth when he borrowed Stella's laptop. When he borrowed Stella's laptop, he discovered that Stella had HIV, because he came upon a file in her computer that contained the drugs that Stella was taking, which were retroviral drugs and meant for HIV people. So Adesina said he panicked and was very worried and agitated, because he now feared that because he had unprotected sex with Stella over a period of time, that he would be positive as well. In other words, he believed that Stella would have infected him. And since Adesina was married, remember Adesina was married, he too began to worry if that was the case, if he infected other people as well. Apparently, there are other women in his life. So he confronted Stella over the phone, asking her why. Stella denied and said she wasn't the one that infected him, that he must have had it himself, that if he had it, then he got it himself, and he might have infected her. There was an argument over who infected the other. Additional, then Stella immediately asked to have her computer back. For Stella, she realized the mistake, if you would, of giving her computer to Additional because it revealed to Additional things Stella had not disclosed to him. Additional refused to give the computer back. For him, the computer was the evidence. The contents of the computer was the evidence, and he wasn't going to give it back. Stella insisted. They began to have an argument over it. Then Adesina said, all right, I'll give it back to you, but only if you give me money to undergo HIV test and I confirm that I am negative. That was how the issue of demand for money came up. So when Stella said to us that Adesina was blackmailing him with her HIV status and asking for money in order not for him to release the information, that was odd. We didn't know all this in the beginning, but now that when all the facts came in, that was odd. It didn't make sense. He is your boyfriend. If you are HIV positive, you ought to have told him. And if you told him, why would he blackmail you? Especially, nobody will blackmail you. Nobody's going to say my girlfriend is HIV positive because people will immediately suspect that you also are HIV positive. So it didn't quite make sense. But there were many reasons why Adesina could not gain my sympathy or support. It was odd to realize that Adesina, a married man, was dating Stella. So he left his wife and children and was spending time with Stella. It was also odd that while dating Stella, Adesina commenced a new relationship with a woman called Ekwi in Ibadan. I spoke to that woman as well. We exchanged chats, but I decided to leave her out of this because she was not involved. She did not bring any complaint to us. And if anybody needed to be protected, it would be that woman. I had to protect her, even though I had all the information sent to me, Stella, and then my research and other things. We are not eager. In DPA, we are not eager to shame people or to embarrass people. That's not what we do. We protect people. If we release information about you, it is going to be information that is necessary for our work. And we always do that with your consent, insofar as we disclose your identity. I heard some people who commented and asked, oh, well, she authorized you to release the information, but not to release her identity. That is dumb. That's very stupid to think. First and foremost, without her name, what information is there? The information will be a general story about HIV existing in the world. I wouldn't need anybody's permission to say that there's HIV in the world or that one woman and one man are having this sort of argument. It's needless. So when we ask for your consent, we are asking for consent to disclose all information, your identity particularly. And if you look at that question, which I shared with you because I posted it, the question was very clear. Stella had sent me charts of exchange of information between her and Adesina. And I asked her, do you permit me to post these charts, the chat log? She said yes. So if I had posted the chat log, her name and her picture will be there. So it's almost unthinkable that anybody will expect that if I posted the chart, Stella's Facebook chart, if I posted it, it will not, her name and picture will not appear. So she knew what she authorized. She authorized us. But even at that, I didn't do it. The reason I did not release the chart was because the chart was actually very damaging. The chart explicitly accused Stella of infecting men with HIV in Abuja. That's a very serious allegation in a country with high level of stigmatization for HIV patients. And that will scare everybody. So because of those extreme allegations, I did not want to post. Stella urged me to post the chart. If I had posted the chart, the world would have known about Adesina's allegations. So I didn't. I went after Adesina and got a lot of information. He did not respond. He wasn't quite responsive immediately. And that's one of the problems we encounter when we try to hear the other side. We are always eager to hear the other side. But the question is that a lot of the time, the other side is not available, or the other side is not willing to cooperate, or the other side is hostile and resisting us. And when that is the case, we proceed. We proceed without necessarily hearing the other side. But it doesn't mean that we believe everything else we heard on the other side. We will analyze. Stella is very, very cunning and manipulative. She sounded desperate. She sounded like a victim. She sounded like a woman who was abused and maltreated by her man. And she won my sympathy. I was so determined to protect her against this man that was threatening her. That was actually my position. I wanted to make sure she was all right. And because of that, I stopped paying much attention to Adesina. Now, in retrospect, that was a mistake. We shouldn't, well, let me not say it's a mistake, because even if I have a similar situation in the future, I think my sympathy for the woman as the weaker party, as the one needing, more vulnerable party, and the one needing protection, that's always going to be there. I'm always going to think that the woman needs help against the aggressive male. So this time around, it didn't work well. It didn't work to my advantage or to our benefit, because now the fact that we trusted Stella now made it possible for her now to tell all these horrible stories and lies against us. Okay. So now we got to a point when Stella wanted to tell the story to the world. She asked me to go ahead and publish her story. I said, no, I want you to do your story and I want you to publish it, post it yourself. It was very important. Post it yourself. And that was not her appreciation. Her appreciation came later. This was before the laptops were returned. So Stella wrote a 3-page account of her life. She wrote stories, how she became HIV and all those things. After writing it, she sent it to me by inbox. And she put it on DPA wall. I said, I want you to do it, post it on your wall. And on DPA, I will approve it. Stella did. She was very clear. She admitted that she was HIV positive. The only thing she denied was that she was not infecting men. So if it comes to a question of who made it public, she made it public. She placed her story in the public domain. And by the way, Adesina also made it public. But Adesina's motive was very clear. He revealed the information to the relatives of Stella, those people that Stella contacted and whom she asked to help. Because Stella was trying to get people, family members, mutual friends, to prevail on Adesina, and then Adesina explained to them why he was holding the computer. That was how they became aware of Stella's HIV status. So, why is Stella attacking me? It's obvious. I and DPA, we have a worldwide name recognition. Wherever you go, we're mentioned. You need to see what happened on Sunday in Dallas when I attended a function. Immediately I came in, I could see people whispering in corners. The women, well, that's a Mekugwe, that's a Mekugwe, is that a Mekugwe? And some approached me initially and said, sir, are you a Mekugwe? I said, yes. They said, oh, we read these things about you disclosing. I said, yes, I know it's unfortunate, but that's not true. I had to explain to them. Whether they believe me or not, well, we don't know. But that's to show you the extent of the harm and damage they've done. Stella needs sympathy. Stella needs to get benefit from Mr. A by claiming that Mr. B is attacking her. Stella is a perpetual victim. She wants to be a victim in order to get sympathy. Last year, Adesina was the problem. Before Adesina, the father of her last child was the problem. Before that one, the father of the child, second to the last child, was the problem. Stella always have somebody to blame. That is something we now know as we get to know more about her. She has someone to blame. She needs to create a boogeyman. She needs to create a monster attacking her, some imaginary figure attacking her, so that somebody will come to rescue her. So today she's going all over the places claiming that her HIV status was disclosed. But at the same time, she gets praised. She takes commendation for coming forward. How could you come forward and at the same time not want it disclosed? So that is the contradiction in her work, and that is the dishonesty. I think when you look at this, the speed with which she attacks me with lies for disclosing her status, which I didn't do, then you got to believe Adesina that she intended to hide her status. She would never have come public if Adesina did not discover her status on the computer. She would never have come public. She kept it. It's because she used everything she's got. She used the sensuality. Okay? So it's very, Adesina's story is likely to be true. That she was dating different men. And she was not disclosing her HIV status. And many of them were having unprotected sex with her. And any of those men could be infected as well. If we knew who they are, if the Ministry of Health had the capacity, they're supposed to contact Stella now, call her in, to give them the list of men she had slept with without protection. And then the Ministry of Health is supposed to call each of those men and say to him, please submit yourself for a test because we suspect you may have the virus because you had unprotected sex with a HIV positive person. Instead of all this gossip and talk and nonsense being peddled by hired hands and envious, vicious people who are trying to run down the PA, what you're supposed to do now is to fully assess the public health implications in the allegations of Adesina. The allegations that Stella had been deliberately infecting men in Abuja area. That is something that ought to be taken seriously at this point. So the Ministry of Health supposed to use the enforcement section to contact Stella and interview her, obtain from her the names, the list of all the men she had slept with since the past 5 years. And getting the names of those men, the Ministry of Health should call those men, each of those men, and insist that they go for HIV test because they all could be carriers, having either being the ones that gave it to Stella or maybe they got it from Stella. We don't know who gave it to each other. We don't even know when Stella became HIV positive, how she became HIV positive. We have no idea. So, but the critical thing for us or for the public is that you need to stop the spread of HIV and you need to stop wickedness. What I mean wickedness is for someone to know she is HIV positive and deliberately go and have unprotected sex. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this video could terminate and this recording could end anytime. If that is the case, I want to emphasize that we've made the point that we needed to make. Adesina's story can no longer be dismissed. Stella is not a victim at all. She is a sympathy monger. She is looking for sympathy and affection, and she's getting it because the enemies of DPA are huge. And that's not a surprise to you. The things we do attract enemies, but that's not what we worry about. We are concerned more about those people we help. So Stella is getting sympathy, but it is ridiculous. Any serious, honest person who looks deeply into these things will understand that she doesn't deserve sympathy because we did not disclose. She actually, in her effort, in her utter confusion and desperation, she made a video. In that video, she admitted, she said, I posted it myself. She was very emphatic and aggressive. That's her. That's the audacity she has, even when she is so wrong and so malicious. So she admitted that she posted the story herself, and she warned you. She said, you better get it. If you listen to her video, when I saw it, I felt pity. I felt pity, and it's totally pathetic. Yeah, but at least she said the truth. She made the posts. What I'm worried about are those people, the rich bloggers, who capitalized on these things because they too wanted to make money, particularly Linda Ikeji. I'm very impressed, or rather, I'm curious in the sense that this thing is going to expose the ugly underbelly of Linda Ikeji and KKG blog, because she's got no truth. She has no capacity to verify the content of her story. She can't develop a content. What Ikeji and Linda Ikeji blog is a purveyor for gossip and rumors. It doesn't deserve the title of a media or a credible media at all. But I think she made a mistake in this one. She went too far. She went too far. There were many questions she could have asked Stella. If Stella said that I disclosed her status, she was going to ask her, how did he do it? Was it in writing? Yes, we need to see the document where he wrote it. Was it in any other form? But Linda doesn't care. Linda had lived in a country where everything goes. And now she forgets that she bears the responsibility for the harm she does to people. She peddles these rumors, increases her ad revenue, and she considers it success. That is toxic. She's dangerous to society. She's dangerous to law and order, and that is exactly what we're going to try to pursue and try to establish. In taking Linda Ikeji to court, it's not vindictive. I want to know whether Nigerian courts will agree that it will be a defense for a media publisher to say, I copied it from the internet. It's out there in the internet, so I disseminate it. They forgot that the law of defamation is about publication, not about the original source. It's the question of who published it, who sent it to the world. And Linda Ikeji blog did. And once she carried that trash, every other person felt justified to carry, because she now became the source for other people. I would want that. I mean, I think it is important, in the interest of Nigerians, to see Linda Ikeji in the witness box, and I will cross-examine her for a whole day. Then we can get her to answer the questions we need for her to answer, and that will furnish information to the public, to the Nigerians. We want to know what measures she has in place for verifying the truth of the stories she peddles. We want to also know what Linda thinks of herself and the media, whether she understands the implications of her status. She abused her position of influence. So I would love to I want to see that woman in the witness box. I want to see her there. And whatever comes out of it, so be it. If she wins, fine. We just got to get to the truth. Truth is all I care about. Well, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, Stella had made a broadcast. She admitted things. Yesterday, she was calling me on my phone. I refused to take her call. I have warned her, and I've warned people to please send a message to her to stop calling me. Any call from Stella now is considered harassment, and that's what it is. She has no business contacting me. I don't want to talk to her. And I also urge DPA admin members, nobody should talk to her. She has hurt DPA. She's been so dishonest. She is the opposite of what we consider the model in DPA. She shouldn't contact us. Thank you. Goodbye.